Right, Dallas Stars fans, let's go, let's go. We got another game coming up here very quickly. We got a bunch of games on the docket in this condensed schedule this year. Before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to both my friends at the Defending DBD, that's Defending Big D boards. Great hockey talk over there, as well as the HF boards, which is a great place for hockey talk in general, as well as talk regarding prospects and the draft. It's a great source for information for things of that nature. Go check them out. We've got a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to talk about Ducks versus Stars. We're going to talk about some drafting. We're going to talk about some fights. And yeah, we're gonna have a good one. But before we get into it, if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, share. Help me get that out there. That would be much appreciated. So, we have got a game against the Ducks where we're coming into it on a 7 game point streak heater. Awesome to see. I'd love to see that keep going. Anaheim, for their part, has won 4 in a row. So these teams are coming into the game hot. They are coming off of a Edmonton shootout win for the Stars. The Stars have had a run of combat kid affairs where 5 of the last 6 games have been come from behind victories. Pretty amazing stuff. You don't want to play that game too much, but it's pretty incredible that they're able to do that. Statistically, the odds of doing that is extremely, extremely low. And so you can tell that there's something more to it than just luck. So good on them for being able to do that. This is going to be a very difficult game for the Stars. Last year, Anaheim beat us all 3 meetings. They were all pretty close games, but we're dealing with a young, fast team here, and they're a pretty tough team too. And when you look at this team and how it's been built, they struggled for a lot of years, and they've been able to draft very well. So 10 out of their 23 players on their team are in-home drafted players, which is the way that you want to build a team. When you start trying to cobble teams together through free agency and trades, like, say, the New York Rangers, it tends to not lead to long-term stability. You kind of tend to veer into the no man's land of the middle. You're more cap strapped. And so, whenever I see a team that's able to do what the Ducks and the Stars, for that matter, have done, I really like to see it. Let's go through some of the Ducks draft picks to see how they've gotten to where they've gotten today. So this year is to be determined. They took in 2025, they took Roger McQueen in the first round, 10th overall. A lot of potential there, but we don't know. Beckett Seneca was in 2024. He was 3rd overall, first round pick. 7 points in 12 games so far this year. So pretty solid for him in a draft +2 season. Then they've got Leo Carlson as their first rounder in 2023. He was 2nd overall. Awesome player. He's got 18 points in 12 games. Gonna be a stud for them. And they've had the benefit of picking very high draft picks, but you could still mess those up. And they've gone on a run here that I'm going to continue to go through with their first rounders where they just aren't missing, and that's why they are where they are today. So before Carlson, it was Minchukov, defenseman, who's playing on their 3rd pairing. He was picked 10th overall. Before that, it was Mason McTavish, was picked 3rd overall. He's their 2nd line center. A lot of good years ahead of him there in Anaheim. The year before that, in 2020, it was Jamie Drysdale, who was picked 6th overall, defenseman. They ended up using that asset to trade for Cutter Gauthier, who's on their 2nd line now. So again, they're bringing in assets each first round pick. Before that, it was Trevor Zegras, who was ninth overall and was a fan favorite, kind of fell out of favor. They ended up trading him for Ryan Paling, who's on the third line, so they got something out of him there. Beyond that, they've got Troy Terry, who's has got 15 points in 12 games. He was a fifth round pick in 2015. Their starting goalie, Lucas Dustal, he was a third round pick in 2018. And Olin Zellweger, who's an interesting, speedy, small defenseman, highly skilled, was a second rounder in 2021. So these guys are knocking it out of the park with their draft picks, and pretty amazing to see. So this to give you an idea of what the Stars picks are looking forward to in 2026, if you're curious, we don't have a first round draft pick. We have a second, a third, and then some later round picks. So the first round draft pick was traded to bring in Mikko Rantanen. Can't fault him there. And he went along with Logan Stankoven to the Carolina team. So we don't have that one. I hate going several years in a row without first round picks. But on this one, you can cut them some slack for bringing in the Moose. So the Ducks are a tough team too. I love that stuff. They're tied for the league lead with 6 fights on the year. Most of that is coming from Ross Johnston, who leads the league with 5 fights on the season so far. He just had a doozy of a fight with Tanner Jeannot. And I was watching this fight, and it's interesting to see that Johnston's helmet came off, and in the past the refs would rush right in. Not in the old school, but you know, in the more recent past, they would rush right in when a player's helmet came off. They didn't do it. They let him go. I'm noticing with the fights and with the at least in the regular season, with the fights and with the physical play, they're giving these guys a little bit longer leash, and so I don't know how that's happened, but I love to see it. You know, this is a man's sport. It should always be played with that physical edge that us old schoolers love to see. So good to see that kind of coming around a little bit in the NHL this season. So they've got some other tough guys. Jacob Trouba, who is a nasty hitter. He can really lay out some players. Radko Gudas, who's he may or may not. Actually, I don't think he's going to play, but he's another another nice piece that they have that brings some physical, nasty edge to their team. Anaheim, they're 4 games over 500, so we're dealing with a really good team here. Their goal differential is third best in the league. Their offense is ranked 8 in the entire league, so we've got our work cut out for us this year. They kind of have our number. It's a tough matchup with their speed, with their physicality. Those are kind of the games that the Stars have had difficulty dealing with in the past. Take Edmonton in the playoffs last year, for example. So they've got some injuries on the Ducks. Ryan Strome could play, but that's to be determined. Mikael Granlund, who I wish we still had, is not expected to play. Radko Gudas, who is their captain, is uncertain if he's going to play, but you know, if he plays, that's another player that you got to watch out for on the ice at all times. Anaheim has points in 9 of their last 12 games. They're tied for second most in wins in the NHL with 8. They've got the best offense in the league right now at 3.92 goals for per game. So when you're scoring 4 goals a game in a league that typically 3 is what it takes to get it done, you're going to win most of the time. So I know our defense has struggled. We've got to find a way to contain this Anaheim high-flying offense. Cutter Gauthier is a big part of that. He's tied for the league lead with 10 goals. Leo Carlson is 7th in the league in points with 18 in 12 games played. Pretty good for that youngster. Then they've got McTavish, Beckett Seneke, who we talked about before, who's another great forward for them. Chris Kreider, who's a speedy veteran that they got from the New York Rangers. He can go to the net and cause problems. He's got speed to kill. So he's a player that even in his past his prime a little bit, you got to watch out for them. They don't have to watch out for our offense as much, which is 27th in the league at 2.69 goals per game. One of the players, and we've talked about this before, I want to bring it up again. Maverick Bourque is a player that we can look to change that equation a bit. He's one of the guys that can step up, has the skills to really be a top 6 producing forward in the absence of some of the players that we're missing right now. Jamie Benn, right? He's out with the punctured lung. Rupe Hintz, he looks like he's concussed, as well as Matt Duchene, also concussion. So Maverick Bourque has struggled. He's only got, I think, 3 points through the 13 games that we've played so far. 1 goal, 2 assists. And I know he's got a lot more left in the tank. He got pulled from his line. Not pulled from the game, but he got pulled from his line against Edmonton. I think it had to do with that turnover that led to a goal against us. And I'd really love to see him turn it around. I think he's got just loads of ability. I really do think he can be a 60, 70 point guy, but he's not showing us that right now. So let's hope for a resurgence of Bourque to get to the form that we saw in the preseason. That would help us out a lot. We're dealing with an Anaheim defense that's more or less top third in the league at 11th best. Dallas is the 20th best defense at 2.92 goals a game, and Anaheim is 11th at 3.08 goals against per game. So you can see the parity there, where there are 10 teams stacked up between 2.92 and 3.08 goals against per game. Pretty incredible. We've got a very good power play at 31.1%. We're going against a middling penalty kill in Anaheim that's killing only about 80% of their power plays over there. Their power play is also middling at 20.4%. And our penalty kill is still struggling at 71.8%. We're probably going to see Dostal in net for them. He has a .912 save percentage on the year, so very solid, about equal to Ottinger, who I expect will be in net for us at .913. So this should be a good game. I'm a little nervous about the matchup for us, but hopefully we can keep this going, and we can talk about an 8-game point streak after this one. If you want to reach me, I can be reached at The Foil Hockey. That's TheFoil Hockey at gmail.com.